Hi everyone, my name's Cathy. Welcome to Skint Living UK. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to grandmas, nans, aunties, all the lovely mums and grandmums out there. I hope you're having a great day. So today got me thinking about my mum. My mum passed on a good 14 years ago, and I was thinking about what life was like when I was little. I was born in 67, so I can only remember the 70s and 80s, and times were tough. My mum was a single mum on benefits, struggling with some mental health issues, and basically in them days it was hard to get credit, and the credit that you could get was extortionate, to be honest. And we'd never heard of things like credit unions or savings clubs or anything like that in any way, shape or form. So I just wanted to talk about the 10 hard money lessons I learned from my mum. My mum did the best that she possibly could. I'm not being critical of her. It was just what was available at that time. In the 70s, there was nothing. And the 80s went much better because in the north, everywhere was devastated. Liverpool was so bad, 40% of the population left the city. Because people were just like, oh, we need to find things better. So anyway, so these are the top 10 hard lessons about money I learned from my mum. Number 1, she would buy really cheap shoes for me and her. I mean, just rubbish. They weren't even made of leather or anything. They would fall apart in no time. And the problem with plasticky type shoes, they make your feet smelly as well as falling apart really quickly. So when I left home, I bought secondhand DMs, Doc Martens, so that they would last me, good quality big boots that would last me years, which they did, and even though they were secondhand. And then when I started work and whatever, I would buy nice shoes from the likes of Clarks, because I've got wide feet. Because in the 70s you couldn't really find wide fitting shoes. Number 2, she would buy the cheapest cheap veggies you could get hold of. She used to buy these horrible potatoes, big black things they wear in a bag. And they were just a waste of money. She'd be peeling them and they'd be full of eyes, and sometimes whole potatoes would go in the bin because they were rangy, and I don't know what they cost. I know they were next to nothing because they were dirt cheap. And it was waste of money because by the time you peeled everything, you were left with next to nothing of the veggies anyway. And the carrots were the big thick ones that didn't have any flavour and things like that. So it was a false economy, really. Number 3, she would shop only once a week, so she missed out on as if there were any offers or discounts or reduced items or anything like that. And then she'd struggle with all the shopping, but she had the time, so she could have popped around the shops every day, even if she wanted to. So as she got older, she did do that. I think she was open to bump into family, or she'd go for a brew or chat to people she know. She'd pop into the charity shop. So as she got older, it became a social event for her as well as a shopping event. But when I was younger, it was just like once a week and that was it. So what she brought home, that was it. And I think it was probably what she could carry. Number 4, she rented a little TV, and it wasn't even new. It was from a TV rental shop. And I remember she was paying £8 a month, and in them days that was a lot of money, especially when you're living on benefits. And she'd paid for that for like 15 years. She could have bought loads of tellies in that time. I left home very young. I was 17, and the first thing I did was buy a second-hand telly. And it lasted me about 2 years because I thought, I'm not renting a telly because it's dead money. So even though it was second-hand, it lasted me a couple of years. I think it was like £50, £40, £50. So I well and truly got my money's worth, and my mum was flabbergasted. What, we're all right? So I went, yeah. And then when that telly died, I bought a brand new telly, and a big Toshiba TV. It was a flat screen, and the ones with the big lumpy backs. And I think it was 189 or 179. And in them days, you would think, oh, God, that's like paying about £1,500 now these days, I think. Something like that. So, yeah, it was just dead money she was paying for the TV every week. But again, because she couldn't get credit in the 70s and 80s in any way, with a low interest rate. I think she just thought, well, this is it, I'll have to get a rent one, because I think it was common. People used to rent washing machines and cookers and all kinds of things. It was really common for people to rent. There was a famous shop called Radio Rattles. I don't know if you remember it, if you're a bit older like me. And they used to just rent everything. A few years down the line, this is like in the 90s when I'd left home, she used to buy furniture from a store. I think it was called Crazy George's at first, and then they changed it to Bright House. So say they had furniture, she bought a sofa, a couch and a chair, and in the shop, before even any interest was added, it was £1,300. And I said to Mum, that's so expensive, and that's before the interest. And at the time, we always used to get an Argos catalogue, because that was a big thing each time, like the spring or summer come or whatever, in winter. The new Argos catalogue of the house, and they had exactly the same sofa and chair. The two together were £750. So they were charging nearly double before the interest, and she was in there week after week. I think it was 2 or 3 years she was paying it for. She must have easily paid it over three times. She could have bought it 3 times easily at their price, not the Argos price. So she just totally ripped off. So she stopped buying there, but she was getting my sister and her kids stuff from there, because I think she just got in the habit of paying. So she was paying, I think at one point she was paying for like 4 or 5, maybe even more things. I don't know, I didn't ask. She offered me something and I went, no thank you, no, I'm not getting involved with any of that, no thanks. So yeah, they were, these people were sharks, those shops were sharks, because she was just, every time she'd paid off something, they were going, oh, do you want to get something else? You got credit with us. And she'd get somebody something and the family something. So anyway, yeah. In the 70s and 80s, she would get doorstep loans and paid a fortune in interest, and they come banging on your door every week, and some weeks she didn't have the money. So it was just like, oh, it's a nightmare. Don't know if they're still going, the Providence. You paid them every week. Yeah, it's just extortionate interest. Again, preying on people who don't have any credit. Or credit. Well, they didn't call it credit histories in them days. If you wanted to buy something on credit from a store, you'd have to have a guarantor. Number 7, she would get items from a catalogue. But instead of buying something quality, she was still buying cheap. So she was paying 2-3 times the price for cheap rubbish, rather than thinking, oh, I'll get something quality because I'm paying for it every week or month. She would still buy cheap. So my mum was one of those people. She always meant well, but she just wouldn't listen to advice. She wouldn't even listen to her own mum. She would never take advice off her own mum, ever, for anything. She was just like this rigid mindset. She just, no. This is how I'm doing it. And she would. Number 8, she would pay all year for a Christmas hamper. And then when it came, it was an anticlimax, a big build up to it. It was always smaller than you'd expected, and it always had loads of stuff in that you wouldn't eat. Usually. They used to have like tinned ham, that was disgusting. Tin fruit, like grapefruit and stuff like that. It was just like there was loads of food in there that you wouldn't really eat or buy, and it was overpriced, and the size of the hamper, the box that it came in, and you were like, where is it? It's tiny. So she did that 4 times before the penny dropped that it was a waste of time and money. Number 9, as you can gather, she wasn't good with money. She didn't have a budget. Bills were always paid late. There was always an issue over this bill, that bill, especially like the gas and electric. It was just mad. This is one of the contributory factors to me leaving home young, because I was just fed up with it. Bills always being paid late, always demands and things like that, and people knocking on the door. Yeah. And number 10, she smoked too much, so it was literally money going up in smoke. So her bad habit, her Achilles heel, was smoking. and she put me off smoking for life. To me, as a child, smoking meant poverty, and it still means poverty, because no matter how little we had, she would always find money for some cigarettes. So please don't take this wrong. I'm not criticising her. That's just what life was like in the 70s and 80s. People found ways to get in credit, like doorstep loans or paying for things on tick, as they say, and Christmas hampers and things like that, or later on predatory shops like Crazy George's preys on people who are on benefits or low income because they could pay for things weekly. I think even at one point it was found out that the Queen had invested money in one of these types of shops a few years back. So she soon got rid of it when it became out in public. So make of that what you will. So anyway, on a lighter note, my mum did do a lot of good things. She would buy things from the second-hand shops. She would go to car booties and jumble sales, things like that. She helped out at the Salvation Army. So she did charity work. So she did do a lot of good, positive things. I don't want you thinking I'm tarnishing it with a bad brush. It was just in them days, the choices were minimal. And I think now these days that the choices are better. I think, and there's a lot of advice out there, like the Citizens Advice, and lots of lovely websites like Age UK, where you can find out what you're entitled to, what you can get, and credit unions. Credit unions kept me and my kids going for years. It paid for big items in the house, like a washing machine, or the occasional holiday as well. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day. And if you've got this far, thank you for listening to me ramble. And if you could be so kind, could you please like, share and subscribe? And I hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching.